What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Wednesday episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me every day on socials, on the Discord channel. It's all the same, at Sports Talk Matt. And this podcast being brought to you by our great friends at omahasteaks.com. Omaha Steaks Juice promo code saves you $30 off the already 50% off savings they got going on right now across their entire site just in time for the holidays. Gifts, don't have one for that someone in your life? Well, why not go to omahasteaks.com and get a lot of great food sent to them directly to their door, all neatly packaged up and vacuum sealed and dry iced and all good to go right into their freezer whenever they need it. omahasteaks.com, promo code JUICE in the search bar at checkout. Minimum purchase may be required. Get to it now. The 50% off savings will not last too much longer at omahasteaks.com. All right, so it didn't matter which adventure you chose last night. Both were identical. Both ended 2-1. Both won. If you faded both, well, then you lost. If you faded one, then you lost. But if you bet either or, it did not matter. 2-1 and 2-1. Both losses were minus 130 losses, I believe. So that means we were up 0.7 in both situations. So if you bet them all, you were up 1.4 units. I bet them all. So I was up 1.4 units on the day. So that's good. That was fun. We'll go back to that and do that again when I get kind of bored. We'll do a choose your own adventure betting day again. That was entertaining and it was profitable. So we'll do it again. I have 3 bets all in basketball, 2 in the NBA and 1 in college. I have one game I'll break down and give you a couple of ways you can bet it. I don't know how I'm going to play it, but it's the biggest game of the night. Texas at Marquette. But I can't figure out yet how to play it. It's tough. There's some numbers that are going in different directions, and I'll explain it here in a second. But 2 NBA games and 1 college game, and I'm just, again, going to bet the things that I tend to bet a lot of, and that's games and trends and things that I like to play. And so let's start with Cleveland at home up against the Orlando Magic, okay? The total for this game is 222.5. The Orlando Magic on the year, this year, when it comes to betting overs or unders, the Magic on the road are 5-4-1 to the over. Their last 4 games have gone over. But this is the Eastern Conference playing at Cleveland. Okay, this fits right into my conversation point here for betting on the under. Why? Cleveland's last 4 games have all gone under. Under with Toronto, 222. Under with Atlanta at 239. Under with Portland at 218.5. Those were at home. On the road at Detroit, under. That game was 3 days ago, 225.5. Under by 14.5 points, 20.5 points, 6 and 15. All right. This goes right back to when we bet under for Toronto. That hit. Against Miami, we didn't bet it, but it didn't hit. It went over. But against Detroit, it went under. These are Eastern Conference opponents. Against New York, it went under. Okay. Against Indiana, it went over. But that's because it's Indiana. So right now, this trend, we've been hitting it on Eastern Conference teams, and it's been profitable. Toronto, last time out. Let's do it again. Under 222.5 for Orlando and Cleveland here tonight. Again, when one team is hot on the over and the other is hot to the under, I do lean towards the under because the team that plays better defense and wants to slow tempo down and burn the clock, well, they tend to frustrate the other team, and they tend to make it difficult for teams that want to go up tempo, that want to score and score faster. So I just think when you look at defense and what Cleveland can do from a tempo perspective, playing at home has been beneficial to them. And matchup stats wise, Orlando's averaging 114 per game. Cleveland's giving up 111. Cleveland's scoring 110 per game. Orlando's giving up 110 per game. They're really good in stopping opponents passing the basketball. Orlando is. Make it difficult. A lot of one-on-one basketball goes on when you play the Magic, but Cleveland defensively is equally just as good. And opposing effective field goal percentage are the top 6 in the NBA there. They make life very, very difficult for their opponents. They're top 5 in opponent 2-point percentage. You can hit some threes on Cleveland, but opposing shooting percentage overall is 7th. Orlando is 17th defensively, so kind of middle of the pack there in the NBA. I like the under 222.5, Cleveland and Orlando. Second bet in the NBA. Oklahoma City's on the road at Houston. Houston is leaking oil. They were red hot for so long, ATS. Last 3 games, all on the road, didn't cover any of them. Lost by 6, lost by 10, lost by 10. Dallas, Denver, Lakers. Tough games. On the other side, Oklahoma City beat Dallas on the road as 5-point favorites. They won by 6. Beat the Lakers as 5-point favorites by 23 points at home. They did lose, or they got actually really pushed at losing by 3 to the Timberwolves on the road before that. They lost by 4 to Philadelphia as 1-point dogs at home, but then that snapped a 6-game streak of all wins and all covers for Oklahoma City. I know the Houston Rockets were red hot. We were betting them when they were covering machines, but I think there's a problem here. Oklahoma City is 7-1-1 ATS on the road. Houston is 7-1-1 ATS at home, okay? But they are not right now looking like the same team. They are getting, not exposed, but I think NBA teams are starting to pay attention a little bit more to who they are and not kind of going, it's the Rockets, and all of a sudden they're getting smoked. I'm going to lean towards Oklahoma City here. It's only 2. The line is 2. Road favorites. I think the Thunder go in there. I think the Thunder are more talented. I think the Thunder get the job done and get a win on the road. It may be hard fought, but they're 14-4-1 ATS overall. Houston's 10-5-2. Nothing to shake a stick at, but against the West, OKC is 8-3-1, 9-4-2 for Houston. They're all very, very similar. First game back after a 3-game road trip that did not go well for the Houston Rockets. This has been a bet against type of situation for a while. Oklahoma City's second game of the road trip. They beat Dallas. I think they'll beat Houston here. OKC -2 for 1.1 units. And then finally, we are going to college basketball, and Drake is at home against St. Louis. Now, St. Louis, for the first time in about 10 years, they're playing back-to-back road non-conference games. They played Southern Illinois. In their last game, St. Louis gave up 101 points. They got housed by Southern Illinois, 101-62. Crushed. They lost 81-76 to Utah State. Now they're at Drake, a Drake Bulldog team that right now clicking offensively. Drake scored 74 points against Missouri State, a team that always plays them tough. Their team total was 77.5. They went under in that game, but they won 74-57. They covered. They beat Valpo on the road 83-65. They beat Texas Southern 77-71. They beat Akron 79-59. Stephen F. Austin 92-68. Oakland 85-77. You see the trend here? They're scoring. You've got some incredible offensive weapons here for the Drake Bulldogs, and they're at home. They come here to Nevada this weekend to Las Vegas to take on Nevada this coming weekend. It's going to be a fun game. I'm trying to get over there and watch Drake in person. But Darnell Brody was awesome in his last game. 21 points, tied a career high, season high, 9 rebounds. He was great there. Drake went 2-1 for a third place finish in the Cayman Islands. They won over Oakland, they won over Akron, and they lost to Stephen F. Austin. I guess it was a loss to Stephen F. Austin. I said that was a win. Sorry, it was a loss. They gave up 92 points to Stephen F. Austin. Yeah, that was the game they got throttled in that game. I think we bet the team total in that game and got that wrong. Tucker DeVries was named the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week last week and the USBWA National Player of the Week on November 13th. He's been very good. He's been very, very good, and he's been scoring a ton. I expect him to score a ton here. Drake Bulldogs team total was 83.5 at FanDuel, -115. We're betting over Drake Bulldogs. I'm not going to lay the 15.5 points, okay? They're heavy favorites. Just going to go with offense here at home for Drake. 83.5 over 83.5 for Drake at -115 up against St. Louis tonight in Des Moines in a non-conference Missouri Valley Atlantic 10 battle in college basketball. Okay, so that takes us to the game of the day. Marquette is laying 7.5 up against Texas. The total is 148, 147.5. Here's the problem. These are two very slow teams. They don't play fast at all. Okay, like last night, UConn was a slow team, but North Carolina played fast. So UConn played fast with them. Game flew over, and they covered. UConn won and covered. So we went 2-0 in that game. This is different. I think Marquette wants to grind it. So if we're going to go with an under for 148, I'm really scared about laying 7.5 points. So it would be under in the dog or go over, because the initial move was to the over for this. But I'm concerned about how slow both these two teams are going to play. And I think this is going to be a banger of a game, a grinder of a game. So I lean towards taking the 8.5 points here. Some books are at 8. One book's at 8.5. I lean towards the dog, to be honest, to take Texas plus 8.5. But Marquette's coming off of a loss. They just lost to Wisconsin. They're mad. And now they're at home with Shaka Smart's former team coming in. Like, this has everything. This has revenge factor, run the score up. This has everything wrapped up into all Marquette, right? You can bet the narrative if you want. Lay the 7.5 if you want. I probably will because of that reason. The total concerns me, but laying 7.5 points in college basketball with a total of 148 scares me a lot. So I lean towards the under. I lean towards Marquette minus 7.5. Do what you want with it. I'll probably just be on Marquette minus 7.5, but I'm not going to have you guys lay that number officially because it's a tough number. Okay, it's gonna be a tough nut to crack here, but I think there's everything going into this. There's so much going into this game. There's so much. They just lost to their arch rival in Wisconsin. They're pissed off. Here comes Shaka Smart's former team coming into Milwaukee, buzzing atmosphere. This should be an awesome game to watch. I can't wait to watch this. I lean towards 7.5. Probably will wait to bet it in game. Not sure what to do. So officially, we're going Cavs under 222.5. Oklahoma City minus 2 at Houston. Drake team total over 83.5, minus 115 at FanDuel. And you can do the Marquette under, Marquette minus 7.5 if you choose to do something extra there on the day. No hockey. We got to stay away from hockey. My gosh. I bet under 7. There were, 11 goals scored in that game last night between Vancouver and New Jersey. It was all overs last night. I mean, grand salami over, easy walk to the window there for that. No hockey today. We'll take a break from hockey and kind of let things kind of stabilize here a little bit. Small slate in the NHL. Let's get away from it for a day. Come back at it coming up on Thursday. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all socials at Sports Talk Matt every single morning. The Daily Juice podcast always being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com.